Dear students, welcome back in continuation to your previous video lecture. In this class, the session will see the decision tree induction algorithm, how exactly the decision tree works. The Hunt's algorithm is the basic version for your decision tree, and now we'll see a decision tree induction algorithm. Induction is again constructing a classification model by using decision tree as the design process. So if you look at this algorithm, it has around 15 steps, and the input to the algorithm is the two notations E and F, where E indicates the number of instances or records in your training data set, and F indicates the attribute set. That means the number of attributes associated with those n number of instances. That will be the input to the decision tree algorithm. Now the very first step is, if stopping condition is true, if not, then I am supposed to loop this process. Now before going into the details of your decision tree induction algorithm, there are four major components of this algorithm which you are supposed to take care of. The very first one is creating the node, the second one is classifying, then finding the best split, and the last one is your stopping criteria. So I repeat, there are four major components which form the crux of your decision tree algorithm. The first one is creating the node. After creating, I am supposed to classify. What I am supposed to classify? Whether it is a root node, a leaf node, or a non-terminal node, that I am supposed to classify. And after classifying, I am supposed to split my decision tree, right? How to split? I am supposed to split by finding the best split. After that, the algorithm has to terminate. What is that stopping criteria will be decided here. So these are the four steps. So we'll continue. So if the stopping criteria is not met, what is that stopping criteria? We'll see at the last. If it is not met, then the first thing is I am supposed to create a node. A create node function will be called by default, and that will be itself your leaf node. Why? Because my assumption with respect to the very first step of your Hunt's algorithm, if all the instances will have the same class label, then that itself will become the leaf node. Else I am supposed to classify the set of input instances and label them as leaf labels, and I'll return the leaf node if it is having the same class label. Else I am supposed to create a node. So I'll create a node, it might be my root node, then I'll find the best split. How to find the best split? In the previous lecture we have seen there are two splits, and I'll select this split with the second of the B attribute because it is having the lowest value of weighted Gini index. Any attribute having lowest value of weighted Gini indicates that it is the purer node. So such type of attributes will be taken to split, and hence I call them as the best split. So hope you have understood why we use weighted Gini index or your entropy or error classification rate of a model. They will act as a measure for finding the best split. This is how I have found the best split between A and B. So once that is done, for all the possible outcomes with respect to given node, the possible outcomes are no. Since my non-terminal nodes might have in degree 2 or more, then for all those best split, what I am supposed to do? I am supposed to find the test condition. What is that condition? Which attribute I am applying, whether it's a binary, whether it's a multi-base split, it's a nominal split, it's an ordinal split, that I am supposed to look, and I'll give the attribute as A, and for every edge associated with respect to the given instance. For that I'll create the child. Obviously once I've found the best split, I'll have the attribute split into two parts. One is yes and no, and for that yes and no I'll label the leaf nodes. That leaf nodes will form the child of the parent node. That's what I call it as tree growth with respect to all the instances, and the attribute set F start growing the tree, which will be the child of every split that you have found. So the next step, add child as the descendant. That's what you'll have the descendants of the parent node, that is your root node, and label the edge as root to child as v. So whatever is the value pair, if it is yes, mark yes, if it is no, mark no, if it is pass, mark p, if it is fail, mark f, and you can end. So how long will you repeat this? As long as your stopping criteria is not true. What is that stopping criteria now? If you have found the leaf node, that is the first stopping criteria, or there are no more instances to traverse in your data set, then I'll stop. So please remember your stopping criteria, there are two conditions there. One is there are no instances left in your training data set to traverse and to find the leaf node, or you have found the leaf node, then I'll stop. So we'll look at the details of each and every 4 components which are forming the crux of your induction algorithm are described here. The create node function extends the decision tree by creating a new node. Obviously the name itself indicates a new node is created. A node in the decision tree either is a test condition denoted as node.test condition, or a class label denoted as node.label. That is what we have done here. Leaf.label, root.test condition, that's what a node is created. Second component, finding the best split, determines the attribute test condition for partitioning the training instance. That's what I said. I'm supposed to split the attribute into A and B. Which is the best one? That is what I'm doing, partitioning. The splitting attribute chosen depends on the impurity measure used. That's what I'm talking about. Whether I'm using Gini index, or I'm using entropy, or the misclassification error rate. And the popular measure includes entropy and the Gini index. And the problems that we have solved is basically on Gini index. I'll be giving assignments, you can replicate the same. The third one is to classify. The classify function determines the class label to be assigned to a leaf node. For each leaf node t, let p of I over t denote the fraction of training instances from class I associated with the node. For this we have solved the problems. It is just the theoretical description or the explanation. The label assigned to the leaf node is typically the one that occurs most frequently. That means more number of appearances in the training instances that are associated with this node. And the formula is leaf.label is R max. That means more number of occurrences, whether yes is occurring more or no is occurring more, that will become the leaf node. And at the last we have the stopping condition, the stopping criteria. Function is used to terminate the tree growing process by checking whether all the instances have identical class labels or attribute values. That's what I'm saying. If all are having yes or all are having no, that will be my stopping criteria. Or I have traversed all the instances by checking whether all the instances have been traversed or not. This is your skeleton of the decision tree induction algorithm. Next we have the generalized decision tree characteristics. As discussed, just like your Hunt's algorithm, even your decision tree is a non-parametric approach for building the classification models, where by default it does not make any prior assumptions. That is the first characteristic. The second one, finding an optimal decision tree is NP complete problem. So first let me tell you what exactly is an optimal decision tree. An optimal decision tree is the one, if I start constructing a decision tree, right, there might be n number of trees possible. If I use Gini index, my tree might look different. If I use entropy, my tree construction or the design will be different. If I use misclassification error rate, my tree might look different. So there is no rigid criteria that for all the data sets, if I apply decision tree, this is the decision tree structure supposed to be. Nothing like that. Based on the type of measure I am using, my decision tree will vary. So optimal decision tree is NP complete problem. And what is NP complete problem? You can find a decision tree within a stipulated amount of time, and you can replicate the same process for other examples. That's what I call it as NP complete problem. And this is inexpensive, and your decision tree, if the training data set is of less number of instances, then the tree size will be small and it will be easy to understand and construct. That's what I say it as easy to interpret. And it's an expressive representation. Obviously any graph based, a picture based representation is very expressive, and it is good for learning discrete valued functions. What are discrete valued? Your Hunt's algorithm will work for binary values. That means any attribute having 2 values. But my decision tree will work for discrete valued. Any attribute taking more than 2 or more attribute values, then also it will work. The decision tree algorithm is quite robust to the presence of noise, especially when methods for avoiding overfitting. That means if there are no more number of instances, decision tree will not hold good for larger data sets. That problem will arise. Apart from that, your decision tree is quite robust to the presence of noise. That means missing values or any redundant values. Still then, the decision tree will be able to find the leaf nodes, root nodes, as well as the test attribute condition. Next, that's what the presence of redundant attribute does not adversely affect the accuracy of decision tree. Now, say for example, if one or two instances are repeated more than twice or thrice, then the accuracy of the decision tree will not go down. And obviously, your decision tree employs top-down and recursive partitioning. I start from the root node, go to the leaf node. That is my top-down approach, and I repeat this process. Hence, I call it as recursive partitioning. And a subtree can be replicated multiple times in a decision tree. So that means if you construct a root decision tree involving root node, leaf nodes, and test attribute condition, a tree will have n number of subtrees or the subsets, and one subset might be replicated n number of times. So it is not a redundancy. Tree growing is a process of partitioning the attribute space into disjoint sets. So you have seen the diagrams, right, with respect to your vertebrate classification. It will have the right child as well as the left child. That is what I call it as partitioning, and these are disjoint sets, and the space between them is known as decision boundary. And at last, the choice of impurity measure has little effect on performance of the decision tree induction algorithms. So whether I use entropy, misclassification error rate, or Gini index, it has little effect on the accuracy of the decision tree. Fine. So in the next class, we'll look at how to evaluate the model. Hope you can remember the topic rule evaluation or evaluating your association analysis. Similar to that, we have model evaluation. In the next class, we'll continue the model evaluation for your classification models. Thank you.